So in the middle of everything else today, we got a shipping container to fill with barrels, which is a good thing. These are going overseas to probably Scotland to make scotch, maybe even some Irish whiskey in Ireland. I'm not sure. We just filled a container with maple barrels. These barrels right here, they're heading to Sierra Nevada in California. Justin's getting these ready. We stamp the head of every barrel. There's no maple barrel like the quality of a Bissell maple bourbon barrel. Not even close. In the industry, these are the most sought after because they're the highest quality. It's just a fact. Jack. If you're a grocery buyer and you buy bourbon barrel aged maple syrup, you should really dig. There is no comparison of using a bourbon barrel to get your flavor into the syrup compared to dumping bourbon and maple syrup. That's called a cordial. That's not even legal. People do it. It's called being lazy, and it's greed, actually. It's a form of greed. As Warren Buffett says, the avarice. You've heard it from me before. There's the three eyes. The first eyes are the innovators, people that come up with the idea before everyone else. Steve Stallard. Bliss. It's actually pronounced Blee because life is short. That dude was doing this 20 years ago. He was way ahead of everybody. And there was two other companies doing it when I got into it. And, you know, I'm actually what you call the second eye, the imitator. I just saw what Steve was doing. I thought I invented it. I did not, but I tried them all, and I thought Steve's was the best flavor. So I just copied his. And then what happens is you run out of the small barrels. The small barrels give you good flavor, and it's inevitable because it sells. Anybody who makes bourbon barrel aged maple syrup and sells it at local events, they can tell you it's their #1 seller. It's profitable for them. You don't buy it, doesn't really matter. I'm talking to the farmers. The opinion of the farmer does not matter when it comes to bourbon barrel aged maple syrup. But I'm really talking to you, the grocery buyer. You need to really dig because we use these things called bourbon barrels. We actually source these. We get frickin' splinters. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to whine about it and say, yeah, other people are just cheating. Well, I guess I am a little bit. But if you're buying from a cheater, you deserve each other. It's true. You're going to get caught because they're going to get caught, and you really need to use barrels. Dig. Ask them how many barrels they use. Get the frickin' numbers. Get the invoices. Get the proof. We buy thousands of these because we triple barrel age. You cannot get the flavor into maple syrup from the vanillins and the oak with one barrel and 53 gallons. It'll smell like bourbon and taste like maple syrup. Anyone who tells you that they put the maple syrup in there and time matters, they're full of crap. It doesn't matter. How much time you leave a maple syrup in one barrel, it will not give you the flavor of a 30 or 25 gallon barrel. Same amount of square inches per gallon if you use 3 of these compared to a 25 or 30 gallon bourbon barrel. Now, I know what you're thinking if you're a farmer. Well, that's a lot of extra work. I'm not going to do that. I know. Thank you. I used to be really afraid that everybody would know that we triple barrel aged, but then I realized no one wants to work that hard. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, we triple barrel age. That's why it's the best. One of the nice things about having Justin around is he's a professional. Shipping and receiving, you can have a lot of things going wrong with shipping and receiving. You don't want to have somebody that's not experienced, because craft can get messed up pretty quickly if you don't have the right person there. And so Justin and I grew up together. We were in Scouts together. He's been at the same place since high school for 20 some years, and he's the only guy we interviewed for this. We did not even interview anyone else because we went after him because we knew that he was good and loyal, and he's a 100%er. Sometimes you get to hire a 100%er. You do everything you can to get that 100%er. And man, what a difference he makes. Holy crap. It's kind of warm in here, boys.
Yeah, that's why in between I'm standing in this crap.
Oh, I see. It's a nice little breeze. Nice little breeze. No wonder you guys like coming in and out. It's warm in there. That is nice, isn't it? That breeze right there. I don't even think they need me, Dean.
We need 24 and a half more pounds.
Total?
Yep. Down here, yeah. We have 20.
Are we going 3 high or
3? Maybe. How many you got in there now? These 28 times 4, I think it's 112.
how many are they getting?
210.
Okay. So my great-grandfather had an oil business in Oklahoma. And my grandfather said he'd take a drum of oil, he'd pick it up and set it in the back of his truck. He's a big man. He was like 5'11" both ways. He was like 5'11", 300 pounds.
Which relative had the apple orchard off of 84?
That'd have been my dad's dad,
Okay.
Carl.
Okay.
John Fisher's dad, Thurman. He got in a bar fight when he was 50 years old in Ashtabula. Somebody hit him with a pipe, and they brought him home. And the cop said, "Now, Thurman, don't you go back there." As soon as the cops left, he went back there, whooped them all. Maple Mike, he's a bull. Stay out of his way.
Exactly.
You're getting hurt.
And didn't you have a relative that lived on 45 north of Saybrook?
That's my grandma and grandpa.
Okay.
Yep.
that's the one that had the big garage that you could play basketball inside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was John Fisher. J.P. Fisher in the back of this building. It's got my dad's signature and my grandpa John's signature because they used to do the HVAC here from like 1984. There's signatures in the back of this building, and that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I went on one of those vintage aerial websites to try to find a picture of the farm that I live on. I was able to find one from 82.
1982?
1982. And it still had my grandfather's milk truck parked in the driveway.
You got like 40 more to go. 10 more pallets.
Sounds like so many.
3, 2,
9 more pallets.
Not tipping them off the pallet.
Hey, Jess, on the clipboard, I wrote down the approximate weight.
Yep.
I have the, what's the thing called?
The tear weight, the trailer number.
I wrote down, this is the trailer number, it's on there,
Okay.
and the seal. And I'm approximating about 26,000 pounds because they're averaging about 123 pounds a barrel.
Yep. That's
So
perfect.
I have,
I'll send that to Jen.
Yes.
She'll get the BOL. Okay.
yes,
Yep.
thank you.
I want my pallet to hold the bottom row so you guys don't fall out of it.
Oh, thank you very much, I appreciate that.
I don't want to be as high as I
Right there.
Perfect.
Now that's safety conscientiousness right there.
Okay.
72 times 3 is 216. And you just need 210.
Yeah, so there'll be,
You just need to leave the last 4 out of this one.
we need to leave 6 out. So the top of this row will only have 2. And
Oh,
then
I
this
got
one
you.
we have-
2 as well.
No, it don't have any.
I know it's fun getting the last ones up there. There's barely enough room for 2 dudes up there, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to go up and watch you. I'm a spectator.
Hey, make all the jokes you want. You did good rolling back.
Yeah, yeah. I love your pity. Thank you. I feel manlier. Good job.
You know, I'm gonna give up on sincere compliments because they don't work anyway.
We were thinking about coming up to one of these
Yep.
and then coming down to,
Here. Use this part. You can leave it free. Let her go. Yep. Come in one.
we're gonna do this one.
There you go. Guys just about got it, huh? We lose 2 ratchet straps every container.
Do we wanna do the same thing?